Solving JFK's murder. Clue number 5, the ingenious ambulance diversion. And clue number 6, the wide turn onto Elm Street and why Lee Oswald missed his first shot.
First major diversion, the arrival of the ambulance at
12:19 at 100 Houston Street, as seen here in the actual police radio.
Ostensibly, the ambulance was called to this location to pick up a person suffering an epileptic seizure. However, we know this is a false call because according to ambulance driver Aubrey Wright, he and other drivers on other shifts had been called to this very location on up to a dozen false calls in the days leading up to the assassination.
This allowed the second shooter to get in place
while everyone else in Dealey Plaza was distracted by the arrival of the ambulance. It also allowed the plotters in the days leading up to the assassination to practice and refine their plan,
which was for Oswald to shoot the president immediately after the limousine turned onto the center lane of Elm Street. Should Oswald fail to kill the president, the signalman would signal for additional shots and for the grassy knoll man to make the fire diversion. Had the first shots been fatal, there would have been no diversion, and the police would have converged only on the book depository to kill Oswald in an open and shut case. This also explains why Oswald didn't kill the president with the very easy shot as he approached on Houston Street, as is seen in this FBI recreation. The plotters had doubtlessly already told Oswald there would be a diversion on the grassy knoll designed to allow his escape. So Oswald had to wait until the president's limousine turned west onto Elm Street off of Houston. For if Oswald took the easy shot while the president was still moving north on Houston Street, the grassy knoll diversion would have been well around the corner and far down the hill and would have deceived no one, thus making it impossible for Oswald to escape. While in reality, the plotters always intended him to be the patsy, a very dead patsy. Oswald's first shot from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository and why he missed.
Kennedy's limousine was now almost directly straight down. We know this because witnesses in front of the school book depository tell us that the limousine made the turn so wide it nearly hit the curb at the corner of Elm and Houston.
As we see in this photo, the sniper's nest is very cramped. So Oswald, who was following the president through his rifle scope, would have unexpectedly lost sight of his target as the president's limousine went further to the north than expected and out of sight almost vertically below. Oswald, now in a panic, must hurriedly reacquire the president through his scope and thus rushes his first shot and misses, striking the pavement to the rear of the limousine, as seen by one of the railroad workers, one policeman, and several curbside witnesses. Though the plotters had been carefully practicing the assassination, they probably had been using a full-size luxury car like another Lincoln or a Cadillac, and they didn't take into account the extra length of the president's limousine. It was 3.5 feet longer than a stock Lincoln Continental, and thus not only had the wheelbase of a delivery truck, but also the turning radius of a delivery truck. So Oswald, who had positioned himself to shoot the president when the car turned into the center lane, was completely unprepared and unable to adjust when the limousine went out of sight into the northernmost lane. This picture above shows not only the extreme shot angle, but with the distance of only about 100 feet, that to miss this easy shot demonstrates the shooter was probably an amateur like Oswald and not a professional assassin who under pressure would have adjusted and made the shot. Please click on the link above to go to clues 7, 8, and 9 in the next video.